get paid. It's Friday night, party hunting, feeling right, body shaking, all around, going down, gonna be getting down.
All right, what is going on? Let that ride out a little bit. Just got paid Friday night. Honey, something is feeling right. So the making. Yeah. This used to be a significant jam back in late 80s. Back in the military days. Like you get out of that last for those of you who are in the military, get out of that last formation Friday night. Most of the time it would be you get paid, but then again, maybe some of us did. Today, for the record, today is not payday for me, so I just like the Friday night part of it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate you all joining me. It's the Friday brunch. We try to do the brunch every Friday between 1 and 1:30. Today, a little bit later than 1 o'clock, but I'm in here, so glad that you all can join me. Let's catch up a little bit on Falcons talk and life and things of that nature and everything. So glad to have everybody coming on in and relaxing with your aunt, chilling out. It's Friday. If you're in Georgia, it's a nice day. I know it's supposed to rain a little bit later on in the evening, but for now, it's nice. Went in, got my walk on today. If you look tan, I look tan on here. But went out and I said walk, but you know what? I did about 2 miles and then tried to, step up the little run a little bit. Now I paid for it, but I did make it. So I did my thing, man. Did what you have to do, man. Get this body rolling and everything like that. But thank you again for those of you joining me in Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube, and also those of you joining me in the Atlanta Bird Gang Facebook group. Thank you so much for inviting me into your screen, phone, or whatever it is. Before I go any further, first I'd like to thank everyone, especially those of you on the YouTube side, for reaching a milestone on YouTube, 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for a lot of you spreading the word, a lot of you in the chats, a lot of the content creators in the fabulous circle that I kind of roll in, and just appreciate everyone doing that. It's fun to me. This is fun. This is exciting to talk Falcons with everybody and local sports as well. But especially talking Falcons with a lot of other fans, and that's all I am, a fan. I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. And if you bet based on something I said, I feel sorry for you. But I am a huge fan, longtime fan, and it's just so awesome to be able to interact with everyone in the chat and things like that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And this weekend on Sunday, we'll have an official 1,000 subscriber show. On Saturday, I'm thinking we're going to say 4 o'clock. Might have a few guests in there to just talk about things, and again, just talk about Falcons. I think we're going to do the all-time Falcons. I think that's what I'm going to have on tap. My all-time Falcons team. I'm going to let you all help me out and get into that. And also, before I go any further, I'd like to give a shout out to my brother Gregory Brown. Gregory Brown, if you all know him, Custom Sneakers. He puts his stuff down in Facebook a lot, and YouTube, Instagram, has all of his stuff out there. And being the curious one that I was, and I said to myself, I said, you know what, those look pretty decent. Let me see if I can reach out to my brother and see if he can hook me up. And he did. And this Tuesday, I received this in the mail. There is another shoe with it, but but I received this in the mail. This is outstanding work, folks. He did a great job. Look on the side there. I'm trying to show a little bit of the logo and everything. You see in the front has Atlanta Falcons. And just to let you know how custom he actually went for me, on the back, right on the back side, if you look right there, you got a little Uncle Steve's. Try to turn this right. A little Uncle Steve's Lounge logo right there on the back. So I want to thank my brother Gregory. I don't know if he's in the chat already, but Greg, if you are there, not only do I appreciate you, brother, but please put your information down in the chat for those of you who are interested in getting those. It didn't take long. Didn't take long at all. I think I don't want to. Well, hold on. I don't want to hem everybody into a day because yours might take longer. But did not take long. Absolute quality work. I cannot wait to put those on. For now, I'm probably gonna put them up here in the room when I do my Sunday stream. I think I'm gonna be over towards the locker room part, so I'll put them in the locker room up top until it's season. Time for the season now. I'll put them up there. Anyway, let's get into the chat, folks. Let's see who's out there. Brother Winston, always, as usual, in the house. Thank you, Brother Winston, for everything, too, as far as YouTube and stuff. Cuz is in there. What's going on, Cousin James? How you doing? Say, who got paid? Yeah, exactly. You know, most of the time, people get paid, like, on Fridays. So that's, you know, I know a lot of people in the month saying, what are you talking about, Unc? But somebody got paid here. RJ for life, what's going on, brother? Happy Friday to you. What's going on, Millie? How you feeling today? Thank you for joining us. Lisa's in the house. Lisa said just got paid. Yeah, that was one of the jams, y'all. Absolutely. Greg, what's going on, Greg? Like I said, if you hear me, Greg, please make sure you put your stuff in there so people can check you out. Brother Kibia in the house. What's going on, my brother out there in the desert? How you feeling, man? Big Double A in the house. How you doing, Double A? Facebook user says Panthers just signed DJ Chark. Yeah, I mean, Panthers are doing a lot of stuff too, and I'm gonna get to that in the free agency in a second. What's going on, False Start in the house? One of my day ones in here. Francis, how you doing? All-Star said, just got back to Atlanta all 5 days to spend with some money with the wife and kids. Brother, you got to do that every now and then. You got to take time for yourself, take time for your family. That's super duper important, man. Super duper. Anthony in the house. How you doing, sir? Thank you, Anthony, for always supporting, brother, and always having the chat for me. JJ is in the house. What's going on, JJ? Terry, what's up? How you feeling today? Brother Smith is in the house. Smith is Sports Machine. That's one of my brothers that probably will be joining me this weekend on Sunday, celebrating the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Again, appreciate that. Facebook just says those would be getting put on display. Yeah, and and I thought about that too, because a lot of times I'm not what you call a sneakerhead type person, but I love nice looking sneakers. But these almost look too good to put my little nasty shoes in, because I mean, this is a fan shoe. This is a let me show everybody I'm a fan type shoe. So I don't know, but I know Gregory won't mind if I just put them up in the chat and do that. But yeah, Smitty, y'all make sure y'all give Smitty some love on Smitty Sports Machine. Him and brother Alberto on 95 North. They do a great job bringing us content, keeping us up with draft picks, free agency, and all that other good stuff. And y'all just give them some love, as they have always given me love. JJ says those are fire. So y'all make sure y'all hook up with Greg. And Greg, make sure you put your information in the chat so people can know. Anthony says those are fire. I need a pair ASAP. Yeah, and like I said, Greg's is in there. I know he's in the chat, so we'll see. Brother Michael, what's going on, my brother? So, what do you think about drafting a kid from UCLA, Thompson, He's nice and would fit our system. He will also be a late round pick to add to our quarterback room. He's actually not bad. He really isn't. I thought Penix was going to come out, the guy from Washington, and I know they battled out there in the Pac-12. I do like his game though. He has a nice game, and it would be interesting to see if he came out. What my wish is, I would love if Herndon Hooker was able to kind of drop. I know he's hurt and I know he's on the mend, but boy, do y'all see what he did in the SEC last year? He was by far probably the most talented quarterback last season. So if we were able to get a vine on him, maybe on day two, that would be awesome. Winston says Gregory killed that. Big ups to the craftsmanship. Absolutely. Brother Anthony is in the house. What's the topic of the day? The topic of the day, glad you asked. The topic of the day is going to be, did we really have a great free agent signing week? And I'm gonna kind of park it right here for a second before I go anymore with anymore. Even though I got to acknowledge a couple of people. Meals is in the house, telling Greg he needs to hook him up. My brother, my day one before all this stuff started, big time John Harris, 1K man. Me and John was on those broadcasts a long time ago when it was like one viewer and two viewer and stuff like that. And I just always appreciate him doing that. And I think that's everybody here for the moment. Brother Kelly's in the house. I like this topic. Here's something that I'm always afraid of when it comes to us as a franchise, and believe me, I'm taking the very positive approach to this. We had a lot of cap room this season. And of course, we had overall, our roster last year was not that talented. We had some good players, but not players that I would consider to be, I don't know, perennial Pro Bowlers, all pros and stuff like that. We had some really nice players. Aside of Grady, who had a really solid year from start to finish. For people have to remember, Tyler Algier didn't even get a chance until week 3 or 4 because we still had CP starting. Caleb Huntley wasn't even, he got cut and got re-signed. So we had some spark moments, but for the most part, it wasn't a full roster of great players. So when we got this money and we made these initial signings, and I'm not talking about the inner signings. Chris Lindstrom is probably overall might be the best player on the team. It's good re-signing from there. But I mean, I like Jesse Bates. And I like and he's definitely somebody that we needed. I like Jonathan Smith. Definitely somebody that will add to the room. Ominyata from the Saints is pretty good. But as we go 2 weeks past all the signings and things of that nature, I'm really looking back and I'm saying to myself, how good did we really do? Because we're in the chats and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and everybody's saying, great job, Terry, great job, which I think he has done an admirable job. But remember the scene, for those of you who remember, and I'm trying to think, is that Raw? I think it's Raw. And Eddie Murphy, as he was going through his stand-up, goes through the part where he's talking about if you have a starving person and they eat and they haven't had a cracker in a long time, they'll eat a saltine and say, "Oh man, that's a great cracker. That's a great cracker." Because they haven't had that in a long time. And I know I'm messing up the tenor of the joke, but that was a funny joke because he was saying if you don't have something for a long time, soon as you get it, soon as you get something ordinary and you have it, you're going to think it's the best thing in the world. And I think that's what it is with the Atlanta Falcons. I think we made some need signings. Obviously, you got to have that. But are these signings really that great? And I just want to get the sense of what you all are thinking. And I'm not picking on these things. I think we made some quality picks and not picks, from quality signings. But I'm also saying, is it something where we need to get overexcited about from that sense? Let me preface this by saying I don't care who's on the roster. I'm still going to be yelling and screaming for whoever's on the field wearing the brand. My point is, did we really do that great? Or is it just the fact that, we haven't had decent players as a whole for a few years, and now that we have the money to spend, it's making it look like we're doing so well. I'm looking at a lot of the national pundits, and not that I should believe them because half of them don't care about Atlanta, and a lot of them don't have us graded very well. A lot of them think we overspent for Jesse Bates and Amenyada from Saints. So I'm happy with the folks we have, but I want to get your overall thought. What do you think? We did a good job so far? I don't know. I'm just trying to see. John Brooks says no, because we haven't done anything since signing Hollis. And granted, we're going to have that soft period too, John, because right now I think we went out and got those guys that they wanted prior to all these guys kind of kind of going around and trying to see what's the best fit. Like Nicole Hartman just worked his way up to the Jets. DJ Chark, as y'all were just talking about, being signed, and you see Calais Campbell is going around trying to see what his best fit is. These are those times that, with the Falcons, where they're, kind of surveying out and seeing how much money people want. So I don't blame this phase of the game for some of these veterans, because they might be in a position where, like, you know what, maybe I just want to play next to near home or something like that. Excuse me. Ooh. Winston says we didn't, but we addressed most of our holes. Only big signing is Jesse Bates, but you don't need big names to compete. We just need pieces to create the hole. That I agree with. I agree with that. You don't necessarily have to have a splash at every position. And I'm not even referring to a splash per se. I just think, I just want to know, does everyone feel like we really did as well as that first week? All right, we got Jesse Bates. We really hadn't signed anybody else except we signed Lindstrom. And though I like Jesse Bates and really love him for this system and for this team, I just want to see, just feel the temperature. Does anyone think, oh, we did all right, but a little bit maybe overrated, possibly? Just trying to feel. I don't think that overall, but just trying to see. Billy says, with the players we got here already, I believe we did what we do. At number 8 is what really determines it. This draft is going to be, and we'll probably get into that a little bit today as well. The draft situation, the Falcons truly can kind of do anything right now. The rumors about trading up, that could possibly happen. Maybe they trade back. They could stand pat. Do they go D tackle? Do they go cornerback? Hey, I've heard a lot of people talk about Bijan Robinson at number 8. Really, there's not a horrible move you can make at number 8. The Bijan Robinson thing, to me, I think you've had so much success with the running backs position between Huntley and Algier, finding them in late rounds, and in Huntley's case, undrafted. I would trust the scouting of the last couple of years to find me a running back. But if Bijan was here, don't get me wrong, that would be awesome. Michael says, I'm giving us a C. I'm waiting for the splash. Where are all the big names? And signing our own doesn't count, even though it was important. And I know there are a lot of people that think like that. Lindstrom signing was actually a big deal. To me, even bigger than Caleb McGarry, which I heard some things about him not signing his stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure they'll straighten that out. Brother Raymond is in the house. Congratulations. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. I hope you have much more success. If you all keep watching, we will, and I appreciate you. And spread the word. We appreciate everyone. Millie says, plus the real goal of free agency is re-signing your own guys back. Everything else you're overpaying for regardless is free agency. Yeah, for us, it is. For the successful teams have the advantage of saying, hey, look at our track record. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Look at what we're doing. We can get you on the team. We might need you, instead of taking $8 million, to take $5 million. Instead of taking $4 million, to take $2 million, because people want to be part of that. That's usually people who are after the second contract. After you get your second contract in the NFL, then you get a lot of people that start ring chasing. And so, to your point, when you say everything else you're overpaying for regardless, in Atlanta's case, yes. Because contrary to belief, unless you live here, Taylor Heineke, or your home is here, what's really the allure of Atlanta? Everyone's talking about the Calais Campbell tour that he's taking to decide what team he's going to be on. I would love for Calais to come here and settle here in Atlanta. But as I thought about it, and I'm hearing people, oh yeah, that would be great, and already fitting him into the defensive line rotation. What do we have here that's appealing? What do we have? And this is not a knock. That's when you start talking about what are you doing in those key positions. What will Calais Campbell do? Would he be more suited going back to the Ravens, or going to Jacksonville, where there's an up and coming team, just made the playoffs last year? Or would he want to go to a Falcons team where, yes, on paper we've made a lot of defensive changes and stuff like that, but Calais is about to be 37. He might not want to wait around for the rebuild. So those are fair questions to ask. Eric says, is the salary cap going up next year? I hear we'll have $1 million. I've been hearing everybody talk about the $100 million. I think people aren't factoring in some of these contracts that we have, and not the salary cap goes up every year. But I'm just not even feeding into the $100 million thing, because we have no idea what next year is going to be like. I've been seeing that spinning around. We're going to have $100 million in 2024. Then we could sign Lamar. Then we could do this. And I'm saying to myself, why are y'all worried about 2024? We need to worry about 2023 and trying to win first. Because if what you pay now is will be an investment in trying to win for the future, why am I waiting till 2024 to $100 million salary cap? One, I don't think that's true. And two, I wonder about why you would be focused on 2024. Oh, Caleb Williams will be there. You realize to get Caleb Williams, you're probably going to have to go 2-15, 3-14. And Arthur Smith won't survive. Well, Arthur Smith won't be around to see Caleb Williams if we go 3-14. So I don't know about that. How you doing, Miss B? Nice to see you in the house. Thank you for joining us as always. My brother in Atlanta Bird game, man, I appreciate you, man. You are a huge part of this 1000K thing, brother. And just publicly, thank you so much for all your support. Resigning our own players was great. Lindstrom and McGarry, outside of that, is mediocre. And that's kind of the truth. Jesse Bates, let me make it clear. Jesse Bates automatically becomes the most talented safety we've had in probably a decade, maybe, arguably. Keanu Neal had a good year, his rookie year, maybe the second year, but automatically he's the best player we've had. And yeah, you're right. We probably did pay too much for him. We probably did. But again, what else are we going to offer? We can't come to Jesse Bates and say, hey, Jess, man, we're trying to build this thing up. If you could slice $5 million off that offer sheet, Jesse Bates is going to say, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Y'all need me. I don't need y'all. Y'all think Jesse Bates wouldn't have been able to find a home? Oh, Jesse would have found somewhere. And the problem is, he probably would have found the price that Atlanta was paying. They probably had to play a premium for him. I'm sure they did. AJ the Great say, I think we've done a good job overall. Most of those pundits couldn't name 5 players on our team, so I could care less what they say. And that's fair. JJ, you're absolutely right. They don't care about Atlanta. They really don't. A lot of those folks. I look at a lot of the shows, the morning shows. I've stopped watching First Take and Undisputed as a whole because the narrative is around 4 teams. That's the cities: New York, LA, Dallas, and I mean, I'm really, now that Tom Brady is gone, that's something else. So you don't get a good sense from people in the national media. Kelly says, I don't believe there is a Deron Payne talent in this free agency class, but at the same time, it's rare those talents hit free agency in their prime. This is true. Deron Payne didn't even get out there at all. Give the Commanders credit for doing that. Give them credit for jumping out there. My brother Philip, what's going on, man? Says, as of right now before the draft, what's our record? 9-8 or better? Boy. And man, I don't want to cop out on you, Philip. Let me see what this draft is going to be like. It's really hard at this moment because I have a feeling there might be some trade stuff up our sleeve. I just have this sneaky suspicion that either we're going to go up there to try to get Will Anderson, or we might go up there to try to get our next quarterback. I know people are sick and tired of, here you go again, Uncle Steve. Give rid of his respect. Give rid of his due. Give rid of his. I ain't giving rid of nothing until he get on the field at it for an extended amount of time and do his thing. Right now, he need to worry about coming out of training camp. But for the draft, I wouldn't be surprised if they go up and do something. They might. Billy says at the same time, this free agency pool was kind of weak. That's a very good point. Everybody's talking about, man, we haven't gotten that number 2 wide receiver. I don't know if y'all remember, but at the end of the season, we were talking about after the Falcons were eliminated, there were a couple of streams I did where I pointed out the wide receiver pool is garbage. And I say garbage, but it's not very good. There are not a lot of good guys. You might as well take a chance on some of these wide receivers coming out of the draft. Maybe even some of these sneak guys that might be in the 3rd or 4th round. Because it really was not. I think that Jacoby Myers was probably one of the most sought after wide receivers in free agency because it really wasn't that strong. So yeah, that's an extremely good point. Landenberg said, I would have rather resigned Zacchaeus instead of Matt Collins. Yeah, and Matt Collins is an interesting cat. I saw him play, and he made some okay catches. He does have a little bit of a streak with a little mean streak with him, a little tough streak about him. It's something I haven't seen, quite honestly. In all due respect to Julio Jones and whatever, the last receiver we had with that funk, with that was Muhammad Sanu. That little catch the ball and cornerback, I'm gonna let you know, and also get in your face and dare you to start some stuff with me. And I think Matt Collins got a little bit of that in him, but it'll be interesting to see somebody with a little attitude come in here with that. The attitude doesn't mean winning all the time, but it'll be nice to see. Y'all says Bijan Robinson at number 8 will be utterly stupid. Yeah, I'm not feeling Bijan at number 8. I'm not. But there is it is a little wide open as to where we could go. False Star says, Unc, I heard Thomas Dimitroff on Rich Eisen talk about the Falcons free agency, and Terry, he's internally he's bitter. If you all don't get an opportunity, and I'm trying to get my little mixer in here where I can play the sound and you all can hear it, but I have to get that coordinated. But if you don't get a chance, go look at Rich Eisen and Thomas Dimitroff. They just had a conversation. Somebody had posted it, I think, in the Facebook group, where he was saying, obviously, he was hitting back on the ever-changing world of Lamar Jackson. And yes, I'm mentioning him again because he's still out there. And we were talking about how his hustle man buddy is out there probably trying to sell his wares, and the NFL came against that. But he was pretty much saying that Arthur Smith would have the biggest say on who would come in there quarterback more than Terry. Now, I see in theory where the head coach would say, yeah, I would know which quarterback to bring in here. But I'm also thinking from a general manager standpoint. Now, if Terry feels like having that quality of a quarterback in there, I would be more inclined to say, let me get the talent and let you coach him, as opposed to this, well, he doesn't fit the exact system that we had. And who does fit this system? Marcus Mariota? Taylor Heineke? Logan Woodside? So that kind of bothered me a little bit when I saw that interview and I heard, and from Dimitroff's standpoint, it is interesting because he did say Arthur Blank would probably be interested in, how that would go. But he made the assumption that Arthur Smith would have that say more than Terry. I thought that was kind of weird right there to me, but I don't know. JJ said it would be cool if we traded back and took Bijan at number 8, but it's not a good pick. It depends on what your haul is. If your haul is pretty good, I would think about it. John says, Unc, I heard through the grapevine the Falcons talked to Gibbs from Alabama. Now, if he's there because I don't think he's going to go first round, but if he's there early second round, I would be more like, okay, I can go for that, even though I'm still thinking you probably need to go heavy defense for these first couple of picks. I just said a second ago, now, if you're going up and saying I'm getting my future quarterback while we get through all this minutia of third stringers and Taylor Heineke's, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But you got to get some defense, man. If they went up to number 3 and got Will Anderson, I'll stand up and applaud. If they stay at number 8 and Jalen Carter falls in their lap, I'm telling y'all, despite everything, I think you bring him in there. Because that's what we need. We need some talent. So I think that would be a good move. JJ said, I think they did enough to be competitive, but I don't think we're scaring everybody. Well, fair point. But in the NFC South, do we need to scare anybody? The best player in NFL history, arguably, just retired last year. Everything's up for grabs. Folks, Derek Carr is not the key to New Orleans' future. I don't care who Carolina gets, whoever it is, they're going to have a learning curve. And Tampa Bay, yeah, if Baker Mayfield comes in here and sweeps us, you got bigger problems. But I hear what you're saying. JJ said JJ the Great says a team like us needs to overpay to sign players. Look at Jacksonville last year. Yeah, and that's a good point. Jacksonville had to do the same thing. Absolutely. Miss B says Campbell went to talk with the Jags as well, his old team. Yeah, that's not a shock. And again, Miss B, the advantage for Jacksonville is Jacksonville just made the playoffs last year. They're on the up. And they have a quarterback right now that the first year came out a little shaky, but since the first third of this year, Trevor Lawrence was playing as good a ball as any of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. So that if I were Calais and I wanted to be on a team, I would highly consider Jacksonville. Millie says, I would rather take a lineman at number 8 before a running back. I think that's going to be a consensus for most people around here. JJ the Great says, I know Bijan is amazing, but drafting a running back at number 8 after being in the top 3 and rushing with a 5th round pick makes no sense. And I'll say this too, JJ. I have faith in this scouting folks from the last 2 years. These last 2 years draft, remember, we still have some folks that are still learning how to play NFL football, not just regular college and their talents. We have people that might be coming into their own in their 3rd year. This is why I like the hiring of Coach Nielsen on this defense. No disrespect to Dean Pease. He said it himself. He pieced together what he could with the talent he was given. But I think Nielsen is going to come in there and do a lot more demanding than Dean Pease. I think Dean Pease was just trying to, duct tape up some stuff just to get us through some games and give him credit. Go back and look at the last 6 games, folks. We weren't giving up 30 and 40 points. Anthony Booker says, what's going on? What's up, bro, Steve? I keep hearing about running back Bijan Robinson. What are your thoughts on that? And how would you feel picking him back at number 8? I don't. And I know you probably came in late. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of picking him up. I'm a fan of him. Not at number 8. Yeah, not at number 8. You can't do that. You can't do that. JJ the Great just again said, like, we literally just proved we don't need an elite running back. Not in this offense, you don't. Not in this offense. 95 North, what's going on? There's Brother Alberto in the house. How you doing, sir? Hopefully he'll be joining me this weekend on Sunday when we have our special 1,000 subscriber show. Him and a couple of the great Atlanta creators joining us on that day. Giving Game Sports Talk. What is going on, brother? How you feeling today? Thank you for joining us in here. I appreciate you. Landberg says, thank you also, old man. Hey, brother, it's all good. I think when I met Tidy, I'm not sure if I had more than half of this beard gray. And I don't do camo. So if y'all don't like salt and pepper, I'm sorry. But it's only one person I care about, and that she's at work. Thank you, my brother. Ms. B says, I agree it was mediocre, but it might turn out to be good. I think the defense has nowhere to go but up. And I don't want the tone of what I'm saying, Ms. B, to sound like I'm not going to have faith in some of what we're doing. I guess I'm just saying from a sense of when you don't have anything and then all of a sudden, okay. If you don't have money to spend, and then somebody gives you $1 million and you go out and spend it, you're everything you buy, you're gonna say, "Hey, this is top of the line. This is cool. This is a steal. This is this." And I guess, do you see what I'm saying? I'm not suggesting that these guys aren't going to perform. Matter of fact, there's a couple of them. I think that Ellis signing was kind of low key there, because we do need that little linebacker. That linebacker play has really not been there since Aluakon left, and Debo didn't live up to the standard. So yeah, I hear you. I'm not totally dogging them out. My brother Dallas Cowboys in the house. What's going on, man? Them Cowboys, boy. I tell y'all what, boy. Y'all made it. Y'all got another one of our cast offs. Tat McKinley re-signed with the Cowboys up there with Dan Quinn. Buyer beware, my friend. Buyer beware. Oh man. Giving Game says, I think he said he had options, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to think who you're talking about, brother, and I apologize. Winston says, as is, we will have round 68. We will have about 16, around 68, 68 million. We will have, I'm talking about the salary cap. We have about 16 to roll over, and signings we've made is front loaded, like Bates getting 36 in the first 2 years, but getting 24 this year. People aren't factoring in cuts. Yeah, I think people run with the first thing they hear with the $100 million thing. And again, remember, folks, there are going to be some signings made right before training camp if people get hurt, and people will get hurt. After those cuts of week 3, there are going to be people that are leaving some teams and then pick up with other teams. So yeah, before we start projecting next year, let's worry about 2023. 2023. Let's get that under wraps first. Let's do that. Giving Game says, I'll give us 11-6. And that's, hey, optimistic. I hear you. I'm down. Absolutely. Lana Bergen says, I stopped watching Undisputed and First Take. Also, they got too redundant, predictable, and clickbaitish. Yeah, I'm really, especially the First Take thing, because I think Stephen A. Smith kind of disappointed me. What else is new for Stephen A. Smith for everybody? Because when he and Max Kellerman was on there, and I'm not waving pom-poms for Max Kellerman, but Max Kellerman used to challenge Stephen A. Smith. And I thought it was interesting that, and they made it, Stephen A. made it public that he decided to go in another direction. So he brings pretty much yes men and people he know he can handle, the little yuck fest he does with Michael Irvin every which kind of got on my nerve. It was cool at first, and then kind of gets on your nerve after a while. But I'm just kind of shocked somebody like him would kind of handpick how he wants to do it. It'll be interesting to see what their ratings are. But I just think he looked kind of weak when he took away somebody with as strong-minded as he is. Michael, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man. You always been one. You're another day one, my friend. So I appreciate you totally. 95 No says, it's not out of the question. I totally agree with you. Giving Game says, yeah, man, welcome back, Alberto. I heard you were under the weather. Yeah, Alberto was doing well, but you were on the show Tuesday, right? Was he on the show Tuesday? I think you were. Giving Game says, I'm a little late getting in here, but what is your thought on Bijan Robinson at number 8? Can't do it. Can't do it, man. Too rich. Too rich for him. Too rich. Giving Game says, I think teams slept on Sanu a lot. Sanu is, tell you, man, somebody tell me that tough wide receiver. You know what? And remember, Sanu basically took Roddy White's place. So it was perfect, except we caught Sanu on the second half of his career. But those 2 years, and remember, he probably threw the prettiest long ball in Atlanta uh, over the last 10 years, if y'all remember that pass. Winston says Hollis is cross-trained in tight end and wide receiver. That's why they went after him. He was a tight end in Philly and Miami, and then wide receiver in Vegas. I did not know that. Thank you, my friend. Michael said, are we bringing Zach back? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Twan in the house. What's going on, Twan? So I think the Lindstrom signing was a, hey, y'all better pay attention to this guy. Let's be honest. People outside of Atlanta may not know Lindstrom, but after that deal, people ran to the internet to see who he was. Well, Lindstrom has always kind of backed his play up. I've always liked Lindstrom. It was McGarry who you had to be a little bit on the fence about because we didn't know. We just didn't know what he was going to be. And then remember, initially when McGarry got here, the heart thing he had to do. Don't forget about that. Ms. B said if they did take a wide receiver or running back at 8, I think I will. Got cut off. I see. I think I'll pass out. They don't believe in taking a quarterback at that top pick. I already feel like they are questionable. That would just blow me. Everybody is probably going to think I'm crazy. I'm still not sure our quarterback room is done yet. And I'm not specifically talking about Lamar. It would not shock me if they brought a quarterback in here in the first round or second. It would not shock me. They had the little free agency thing if you're going on AtlantaFalcons.com. They had the little free agency part where they said, where they were talking about all the free agent pickups. And they had Dave Archer talking about Taylor Heineke. At no point did anybody mention whether they were 100% starters or whether these guys were automatically. Nobody has mentioned that. And I noticed none of them have really stepped out in the media. Excuse me. And talked a lot about this. This is just something to think about. Millie Mills says, or maybe our next quarterback is using Ken Francis as an agent. I'm going to stop, but never say never. Let me tell you something, man. Hustle Man is out there trying to get his boy paid. Hustle Man Ken Francis out there about to wreck the game for Lamar. I hope that situation rectified. I don't even care. At this point, I'll take that back. I guess I do. But at this point, the Lamar thing is starting to be more of a joke. The fact that no one's touching this, like he's the plague. But it is one thing that I think I feel pretty 90% about. I don't think he's going back to Baltimore. And if you're Baltimore, what you're probably looking at, you're looking at those first round picks. You're probably looking at something more now. Because if they're going to lose their franchise quarterback because he says he doesn't want to play for you, you might want to cut bait and say, well, let me trade with somebody who's up in the draft. Hello, Indianapolis. And see what's going on. Because that's the part that, and hear me out when I'm talking about these dominoes. If Indianapolis says, and they can do it, you know what? Irsay, I haven't got this quarterback thing right. I tried to bring in Carson Wentz. I tried to start the boy from Texas. I tried to bring in Matty Ice. And none of these things are working. Let me try Lamar Jackson and see what happens. And Baltimore says, you know what? Let me take that pick because Indianapolis is in a position for one of the quarterbacks. And they say, you know what? Yeah, we'll take that and we'll start over. Not only will we start over, we'll get your first round picks as well. Why not? What's up, Tron? How you doing? Oh, uh, hold on one second. I'm trying to down here a little bit. Big Low's in the house. Big Low Country Sports. Y'all check him out on YouTube. Y'all already know who he is. Big Low says DJ Chark just got signed to the Panthers. We need some offense. Yeah, we need wide receivers. We do need wide receivers, and we're probably going to be picking up another round of Alton Tates and Demir Birds and one those type of players. I don't see as I before you even got in here, Big Low. I was saying that it's really a dried up market for wide receivers right now. It was dried up. Really, it wasn't that great going into free agency. The wide receivers that are making noise are people who are possibly getting traded. D Hop, who has been linked to us, and that's a no-no as well. If you just got rid of Julio Jones, you should be running for the heels from Hopkins, D Hop. And that's not saying D Hop isn't a great wide receiver, but D Hop's going to come to a run-heavy defense, a run-heavy offense with a third-round quarterback and Taylor the Man Heineke. And that's where D Hop wants to go? No. That's not. No. Unless they do something with that, I don't know. But I don't see that. Ms. B says if they pass up on Jalen Carter, this fan base is going to be throwing their TVs. I can actually see them doing some mess like that. It's a slippery slope to me, Ms. B. I wouldn't be angry because I would understand how maybe some teams might be afraid of that. Aside of the PTSD he's probably going through with seeing, the crash scene and seeing things that he probably saw that might be messing him up. As I've told everybody with the Jalen Carter thing, the thing that really is crazier for me is if you're going to use the excuse that those things bothered you, why not just cancel your pro day? You don't have to do pro day. You don't have to do the combines. It would help more than hurt, but you don't have to. But in his case, if you knew physically you weren't ready, and Lord knows who I'm about to talk about overweight, but in this particular situation, when you're talking about the difference between millions of dollars at slots 1, 2, 3, if you come in overweight, look sluggish, and didn't even finish your workout, there are players that absolutely circle that date, work up to it, practice it, and get all their stuff together. And he didn't do that. In my opinion, I think it would have been better for him to say, you know what, y'all? I'm not ready mentally. I'll do something later, but I can't do it right now. Then maybe his stock would stay up. But I don't know. If I were him, I think I would have canceled it. But yeah, I think people might, people might get upset. Dixon, what's going on, Larry? How you doing? Dixon Way in the house. Dixon Way always. I think he was streaming NCAA games yesterday. So good job. My brother said the Falcons need Calais Campbell ASAP. Well, pump the brakes a little bit. I want to have him, but I don't want to have him at a high price. Despite what he's done over his career. This not act like he's not 36 going on 37. I would love to have him in there in a Dwight Freeney-ish type role, but I'm not going to beg for him. I hear you. JJ the Great said, I'm not scared of a quarterback that got benched for Jarrett Stentham. I say that too when people were talking about Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I almost felt sorry for, unlike Mariota. Like, former Raider quarterbacks just have not had a good 2 or 3 years. Derek Carter, Derek Carr, they told him, hey, bruh, go on and sit down. We good. Matter of fact, you want to take these next 2 games off, it's good. As opposed to Mariota, who made that own decision of his. That's just crazy to me. I'm trying to get down here. Anthony says, oh, by the way, congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sir. Roger Smith is in the house. Says, Unc, really love your content. Congratulations on the 1K. Let's get Unc the 2K. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you. Again, this is what it's going to be, folks. I don't claim to be as, which is probably why you guys don't see me do a whole lot of breakdowns on players coming out of college and draft. I'm probably not as learned on those particular things, and I have good friends and good circle of friends of mine in Smitty and Alberto and Big Low who really do those things. I'm kind of one of those guys that I kind of just like talking about what we're doing on this team. Eventually, if you're talking about people like Christian Gonzalez and Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, people like that they've earmarked for the Falcons, I might do a little bit of research on them. But as far as this is concerned, if you're a fan, this is the platform for you to say how you feel about the Falcons and whether it's good or bad. I rarely, like I said, let you just potty mouth over here, but that's you. They have platforms for that as well. But over here, man, just have fun, talk about these Falcons, and get us through this offseason so we can get back to kickoff. JJ the Great says, Panthers signing good players, but they haven't signed anyone that actually scares me, though. JJ, if you think about it, the Panthers are doing the same thing we are. It's not like the Panthers have signed anybody big time. Adam Thielen, that's a good signing, but you probably had to pay for it a little bit. So I'm not ready to concede anything to the Panthers. Not at all. Giving Game says, you were talking about Bates. I got you, brother. I got you. My bad. Sometimes these comments kind of catch up with me, brother. Sorry about that. Roger says, I'm not satisfied with free agency, but I'm going to save my thoughts till after the draft because we need more talent on the D-line, O-line, wide receiver, and linebacker. And that's the thing, Roger. I was saying that earlier. When I was asked about the record for the Falcons, let me see what this draft does. I'll be more inclined to give a better idea of what we look like after the draft because I still think there's some other transactions that are going to happen. Atlanta Burger says, only so many times I can hear is LeBron the GOAT? Yeah. I think, you know what I think it is? When they run out of stuff to talk about, that's when the LeBron GOAT thing comes on. So that's crazy. Facebook user says, fans always think we hating on Ritter, but until we have a top 10 defense or Ritter is a top 10 quarterback, we are not attractive for big free agents. If Ritter was on any other team in the division, we would expect a W. It's a fair statement, man. I've trust me, I've fought the good fight with all of these. Well, Unc, why are you not talking good about Ritter? Why are you talking? If he gives me something good to talk about, I'll be glad to put that in the chat. I'll be glad to bring it up. And I'm not saying there weren't things I didn't like about the young man in those last 4 games. I'm not. But there wasn't anything that just made me throw down my hands and say, hey, this is the guy going into next year. And with this franchise, as we are making clear transitions into a new philosophy of offense, I just want to make sure we got the right guy. Who knows? It might be. But for right now, let's see how this turns out. Hey, Facebook user said, "What's going on, Steve? Finally caught up with you, but I'm down with either Jalen Carter or Tyree Wilson." Yeah, I've heard so much mixed bag about Tyree Wilson, which is kind of interesting. Um, but I think Jalen Carter would not be a bad pick at number 8 because it's a need. And think about the rewards you reap if he turns out to be that guy. If he turns out to be that guy, that's cool. And remember, we're only 3 months removed where everybody was saying he was the unanimous number 1 pick. No doubt. Georgia's gonna have 2 number 1 overall picks in a row. But unfortunately, before the accident stuff. So you can't exactly overlook talent. That's been our problem in this franchise. Roger says, "I'm not going to get excited about Goldman signing because he left us hanging last year when we needed him the most. While I'm happy he came back, I'll wait to see if he makes the roster first." Only caution I want to say with that, Roger, is maybe there was something behind the scenes. Obviously it was the joke, oh, he came in Atlanta, saw what they had, and retired. But I have to always kind of move with caution. Maybe it was something family related. Maybe it was something health related that he didn't want to disclose or something like that. But it is kind of an interesting thing that he wants to come back. He's not 30 yet. He's right on the fringe. Maybe he's refreshed. Maybe his batteries are rejuvenated. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to play ball last year. So I just want to put I'm not sure that left us hanging thing, because I think if he left us hanging, they wouldn't have brought him back. So maybe it was something behind the scenes that they said, okay, well, go do you for this season, and then let's see what happens. I'm sure he'll have a chance to talk about it. Let's see. I'm trying to move this down a little bit, grab a couple of folks that I haven't seen on here. Again, I know Brother Raymond is here, but I believe it's looking better than last year. I kind of feeling a shocker is coming, going to bat my team, whatever. I'm kind of in that same boat. And I'm not talking about crazy stretches, but I'm saying, I don't know, way too quiet on the front. And remember, we still have some room to maneuver some restructures with a couple of contracts. So the 20-something million that everybody's seeing, that could definitely change if we needed to make some moves for something. But I don't know whether it's a Yannick Ngakoue or who else big time is out there. Yeah, the Odell thing. Yeah, that's about as bad as Hopkins right now. You can't bring high profile receivers into this offense because they'll be screaming. Odell will lose his mind when he sees us running 70% of the time. I just don't think that's smart. Larry, thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Facebook user says Nolan Smith will be a Falcon. Mark my word. Okay, we'll see. False Star says, what if we waited until after the draft to pursue Lamar? Word is that's what teams are going to do. And you know why it's probably going to be smart to do it then? I think because people will see how the quarterback landscape is going to fall. That might be when you see the seriousness of going after Lamar. If you look at the Falcons quarterback room right now, I'm trying to think of a team in the NFL that has a weaker quarterback room. And I promise you, I'm running through right now. Maybe Carolina, but Carolina's number 1 pick, so they're going to have somebody by draft. But I'm really rolling through, folks. I'm rolling through the East. I'm rolling through the West. San Francisco's is up in the air. looking in the, Indianapolis, obviously, but they're in position to get a quarterback. We might have the worst quarterback room in the NFL going into the draft. We'll see. Hopefully the program works. Twan says, I think the Ravens just screwed themselves because now you have the transition tag and they can either match the offer or just get the 2 first-round picks, especially after he said he wants to leave. I bet they wish they had used that other tag now. Here's the thing, though. Not really, though, Twan, because this is what could happen. Those 2 first-round pick things, they can always negotiate with that. If the Ravens are saying to a team, let's hypothetically say the Falcons say, okay, Lamar, we're going to give you $185 for 4 years. And even if it's all guaranteed, let's just hypothetically say that. And Baltimore knows Lamar doesn't want to come back, but just for craps and giggles, they can screw the Falcons and just say, you know what? Yeah, we'll take them back. And then eventually we'll deal them to somebody. The Ravens are in the driver's seat in this thing, man. Now, because of all the bad ill will in the relationship, it would seem like they would try to move on, but Baltimore is still holding all the cards in this particular case. Big Low, thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the brotherhood in this Atlanta content creator circle. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, my friend. Gibson, what's going on, brother? Said, what about re-signing Rashad Evans? That's interesting. That's been real quiet. But that also lets you know maybe he wants to get paid. He led the Falcons in tackles. Maybe he wants to get paid. You know? Oblivion Empire in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Down a little bit in here. Homer Taylor, what's going on? Homer said, what do you think? Pitts really need a career year this season. I see him more wide receiver 2 this season. John is our true tight end number 1. It's a very interesting conundrum because, yeah, you went out and pretty much got a starting quarterback. Starting tight end. It is kind of interesting to see if they do that with Pitts. Does Pitts become Anquan Bolden? Does he become that guy? I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. Bigelow says Steelers quarterback room. Yeah. But I will say this, though. Kenny Pickett got enough starts for me to at least say I would let him bridge. He did some good things, but even him, it wouldn't shock me if they went after a veteran quarterback, even though most of those guys are gone. But at least Kenny Pickett had that little winning streak at the end of the year where the Steelers made a real playoff run. He has that in his back pocket. He played significant games, which unfortunately, sorry, Falcon fans, those weren't significant games for us. He played significant games and he played okay. But you're right, that quarterback room was not good. Dwight Thomas says, I want Gibbs out of Alabama. Second time we got some love for him. Lisa said, what's the situation with OZ? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I definitely haven't heard anyone reaching out to him to get him. That's a good question. Same thing, Kelly. Same thing on Kelly's mind. I have no idea what's going on with OZ. Maybe he's trying to look around and see what people are going to offer him. Think about what Russell Gage did his last year with Atlanta. Now, granted, OZ didn't have Russell Gage numbers because Drake was there, but OZ was a pretty valuable number too. And he did some things, some good things, but I just don't think people are beating down the door to offer OZ big money. I think he ends up back here, quite honestly. Maybe take 1 year, a 1 year deal. I wouldn't sign long term with the Falcons if I were OZ. Dixon Way says, I'm not worried about Baker Mayfield. I saw him with the Panthers. Yeah. Listen, that's why I'm saying when we were talking about this division, there's no reason why we can't be a 500 team and compete even better than we did last season. No reason why we can't. No reason. Big Low says, as I see a net going in my thing. Sorry about that, y'all. Big Low says the Commanders quarterback room is kind of, yeah, Commanders are in horrible shape as well. Absolutely, they are. David Starks in the house. What's going on? That's another day one. Brother David been always rolling on those 1 to 2 viewer streams long time ago. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for always being in the brother's back. Thank you so much. Homer says, we have the weakest quarterback room. Our most proven quarterback is our backup, Taylor. We have 3 backup quarterbacks. I mean, is that answer me this, y'all, if you're watching. Is that a bad statement? Is that a true statement? I have to ask. Is that a true statement? We have, put it up here again. Not only do we have the weakest quarterback room, our most proven quarterback is a backup in Taylor. We have 3 backup quarterbacks. Show me the lies in that statement. Show me the lies. And I'm not talking about quarterbacks that have started games. But from their status, they're backups. That's and with every pushback that I get when I'm stretching to say, hey, let's before Chicago made their decisions, let's see if we can trade for Justin Fields. Let's see if we can go up and draft a quarterback. Let's see what we can do with Lamar. Where are the lies in this statement that Homer is making saying we have 3 backup quarterbacks? I think that's accurate. John says, yeah, that's a true statement. And that's not the great thing that you should be able to do is self-evaluate yourselves. And with the Falcons right now, even in this period of transitioning when we're getting rid of the bad contracts and we're going after players to fit our system, I'm telling you, we can't do anything until we find out what this quarterback room is. We can't. Winston said, I'm driving, but still listen. Be careful, brother. Appreciate you always listening, my friend. Dwight says spot on. And Dwight, it's not a love my team, but I'm not looking through rose-colored glasses. We haven't looked this bad in our quarterback room, and granted, things could change by the draft and later, since the Michael Vick stuff. When we had cast off Joey Harrington, we had better offense coordinator than quarterback Byron Leftwich in 2007. And I think we ended up picking up, was that the year we ended up picking up the dude who battled Matt Ryan? Didn't we pick up Redmond that year at the end of the year? I think so. Travis says that's an accurate statement. Our quarterback room is an embarrassment, and some people act like it's okay. Not only act like it's okay, Travis, celebrate. Give the young man a shot. Let the young man eat. My brother Sean, I love Sean. Sean came in here last week and gave me the ride at. He said, put some respect on his name. He's the starting quarterback. First, no. And then what has he done to earn anything? This is not bash your quarterback. This is true. Let's look at our situation. Now, who knows? Can he develop? Does he develop into something? Maybe. I'm trying to see. I'm just trying to get more stuff. Homer says we have 3 backup quarterbacks. Somebody tell me we don't. Somebody tell me we don't. Gibson says that's true, but all have upward potential, but not proven. We are going to build a team and then find a QB. If the draft hits well, we'll pursue Lamar Jackson. And you may be right as far as the upward potential. You're right. I have no problem making Ritter wait to develop into something and we can figure it out. You sign Lamar for 4 years, and if Ritter is ready, we'll know it. And then maybe we go in that direction. It ain't like Ritter gonna say, trade me. So why is there this rush? But again, I hope he does. I really do. I really hope he does develop. Dwight says, I'm diehard too. I live in Cincinnati, seen Ritter play, but I still ain't convinced. Again, and look, I watched the Magic that year against Florida Atlantic, and everybody in the AAC. He beat Notre Dame. Show me the other impressive victory for everybody who keeps throwing that up in my face. But this man lives in Cincinnati. He knows. He's telling you. And this is not saying we don't hope he develops, but it is something to think about. Larry says, truthfully, the Falcons have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. I can't argue that point. It's hard. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong about Ritter. I want to be wrong about this situation. I want to be wrong as a Falcon fan. It would be foolish of me to sit here and hope that we have the worst quarterback room. But as of March 24th at 2:20, tell me I'm lying. Tell me Homer is telling a lie. I don't know. Brother Greg says, yeah, Unc, I can't find an argument with that statement. He's still an unproven quarterback in the NFL. And Greg, you know, again, we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. I want Ritter to succeed. I want him to grow. I want him to turn into that diamond in the rough. But I have to be real. Even with all these positions that we're filling, it's not going to mean a thing if your quarterback position is And it doesn't have anything to do with being rookie or first year person or whatever. But I just hope I hope I'm wrong, y'all. Big Double A says, other than Lamar Jackson, who else would be good at our quarterback position? I don't know. That's the other problem. I don't have the answer right now. I don't. But at the same time, I know prior to, I don't know, the end of the year, you could have been making plans to move up in the draft then and staking your claim then to try to say, hey, we need to go out and find somebody. Or maybe they truly are satisfied that Desmond Ritter will develop into this guy. He's going to summer quarterback camp, and he's going to come out and he's going to impress and all of that. So I don't know. Maybe he will. John says, everybody was scary about Lamar. I said we needed him. I know the Ravens hold the cards, but we got to take a shot on Lamar. I mean, and we'll see. But with every signing we make, that possibility goes down and down. Like I said, I'm sure we could do some things, but yeah, we just, we'll see. Kelly says, not knowing the plan at quarterback is what gets me. Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot had us guessing and uncertain. And I don't mind them guessing. I just want to make sure they're saying the right thing. Gibson said they could also draft Hooker. That would definitely make my day if they did that. False Start says, so the Panthers, Commanders, Colts, Raiders, Jets, Bucks, Packers have a better quarterback. They're all unproven and no one has an advantage according to this. But here's the problem. The fact that we're comparing against those guys, there's no guarantee that Matt Corral isn't better than Desmond Ridder. What proof do you have? The Commanders, I honestly don't even know who's quarterbacking for the Commanders. The Colts, okay, I'll give you the Colts. The Raiders have Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a proven winner. He might not be top 10, but he's a proven winner. The Jets are going to draft their quarterback. The Bucks, look, I don't think Baker Mayfield is worth a dang, but Baker Mayfield has at least started 40 games in his career. And Jordan Love started a couple of games himself. So when you're saying better, I'll put them all on the same wavelength, and it's still mediocre at best. So, yeah, you're right. Nobody has an advantage, but yeah. We are in better shape as a team right now than in 21 and 22. Absolutely we are, especially after the free agency. Devontae says, I'm tired of all this whining. Give the man a chance. He can't be worse than Marcus Mariota. Well, first, we're not whining. If you're satisfied, Devontae, with mediocre potential, that's fine. But we'll be the ones whining when we're 7-10 again. We'll be the ones in here in the group talking about, oh man, if we had made a change. We are too much of the let's give them a chance. You know who else we gave a chance for 5 extra years? That went to Indianapolis and was supposed to light things up. We got to stop with that narrative. There is nothing in this man. Give him a chance. This football thing is too serious than give him a chance. The other franchises aren't giving him a chance. Other franchises had 2 chances to get him, and nobody thought first or second round he was worth it. We can give him a chance all he wants to, but just don't act like this is a given. I'll give him a chance, but make sure you remember this. What's going on, Jamal? How you doing? How's everyone doing today? We are doing well. John says nobody is whining, bro. It's the truth, and it hurts. And if you think this is whining, Devontae, I mean, and I know you've been around, brother, so it's not like, but you can't sit here and act like we're good. You can't do that. I mean, you can, and more power to your optimism. Just going for better, man. I don't want average. I don't want mediocre. I don't want let's see what happens. I don't want that for this team. I want us to be the best. I want us to get to the Super Bowl. I don't want us to just make the playoffs. I'm tired of let's try this guy. Let's see what happens. Let's see what. No. Go get the guys you need to get to make this a good team. That's how I speak from that fan standpoint, man. And God bless you for your opinion. I'm not knocking your opinion. I'm just saying, it's not whining. It's tired of losing. And after 5 years of losing and finally clearing the cap, and you're telling me after 5 years of doing this, going out spending this money to build things on this team, you're going to sit here with a straight face and say, well, it's Desmond's turn. He'll do it. I just don't prescribe to that. Savvy B, what's going on, man? Says, as an Eagle fans, things can change fast. We weren't too sure about our quarterback room this time last year. A lot of players moving around and plenty of time before the season. Here's the biggest difference, and thank you, Savvy B, for coming on. Here's the biggest difference with the Eagles. Savvy, you would agree with me. Would you agree with me that when you guys won the Super Bowl for the 2017 season going into 2018, would you say that winning that Super Bowl gave you a little bit of equity to flip some things around from that quarterback position? Remember, you had Nick Foles come in to take over for Carson Wentz when Carson got hurt. Carson never turned back into that guy. So you guys had a little bit of equity to say, you know what? We just won that Super Bowl right here. Y'all give us a chance. And in the meantime, you basically kept a lot of the core of the defense together, just needed help for that quarterback position. The bigger difference with that, Savvy, is we didn't have the Brandon Grahams, the Fletcher Coxes, the Jason Kelsey anchoring the lines. We didn't have the things that you guys had in the trenches and in the defense before. You guys still had that there. You just had to get that quarterback position right. So you got an opportunity for Jalen to grow into that. The difference with the Falcons is we didn't have all of those. We still have people on this defense that's still learning how to play NFL football. You guys at least had that foundation. So when Jalen came, until Jalen got a chance to come up, you still had that behind you. You guys made the playoffs last year, and Jalen played okay, but he wasn't as good as this year. But you had the foundation behind him. We don't have that. You know. Billy says they went the route of fill out the roster. Now, let's see about the third round. Let's see about the third round quarterback. If it doesn't work, then go out that guy next year. I think that's the road they took this year. Here's the problem, though. Only guy I'm looking. Well, there are other guys. There are a lot of quarterbacks coming because Penix is nice, and there are a couple of guys coming out. So I can't really say that. Ricky in the house. What's going on, Rick? Rick is another person, another day one person. Thank you, Rick, as we made our move to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Smitty, I see you right here, but I'm literally getting ready to go because I'm already late, getting ready to go to work. Shane, what's going on? I'm just trying to grab folks that I haven't seen in here as I'm getting ready to break out here and catch y'all. Listen, on Sunday, I'm going to go back to Savvy because I just want to see his reply. Say, yeah, having the Super Bowl win definitely helped out, and we had a solid roster for years. And to be honest, no disrespect, but I don't think Ritter is about to have a Jalen Hurts type leap. And I'm going to leave it right there because I don't think he's saying that because he has Jalen Hurts and he made that. Folks, third round picks, the chances are slim. Do I hope we hit the lotto and with him? Absolutely, I do. Let's not pretend like this is, the guy like that. Anthony says it's not about people not liking the kid. It's about recognizing that this regime don't jab any moves, mediocre seasons on their watch. Doesn't want any more mediocre seasons on their watch. It's time to win, and whoever can make that happen, I'm good. That's a great way to end it, folks. We'll be on Sunday at 4:00. That's usually our fun show. Let our hair down, which little hair we have. Talk not only about the Falcons, have some fun. We'll talk some entertainment. We'll talk music. We'll do the things. My brothers will be joining me on there. My brother Smitty, my brother Alberto, Big Low. If we can get him out of the training room, we'll get him in there as well. Folks, appreciate y'all joining me on the Friday brunch. We do this every week on around 1:00 on Fridays. Until then, again, thank y'all so much for the love. Again, Gregory Brown. Make sure y'all check him out. Let me take this off right quick. Gregory Brown. Y'all look him up. Gregory, I hope you put your stuff in the chat so people can look. Outstanding work, custom shoes. Gregory Brown, y'all check him out. Y'all have a great Friday. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Peace.